Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham AFC from the point of view of long-term fans and new fans.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 143 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Lots to talk about this week. So much to talk about that we have had to ditch stuff out of the running order just to make sure everything fits in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. But next week we're going to... such a weirdness. Next week we are going to talk a little bit more in depth about the running. I was going to do that this week, but I thought... Makes sense with 5 games to go. Feels like the time to do it, doesn't it? Get a bit of a clearer idea. Yeah, you're struggling with it. You're getting it. Is it getting a bit much for you?
The only good thing about the season ending is our holiday gets closer.
It does. Yeah. I think it's just nerve-wracking as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that. But I just hate not going to the football.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's a weird one, isn't it? You know, season's coming to an end. You gutted the footballs, you know, but you've got the next season to look forward to. You sort of get your Saturdays back a little bit as well. Because
We've got lots of jobs to do when we get our Saturdays
I know.
Back.
That's why I'm trying to do them now. I'm trying to get them all done now so I can actually relax during the summer a little bit.
Yeah.
Because... You do notice your whole life sort of revolves around the football on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. So it is a little bit nice to get your Saturdays back. But then it's really gutting because you have 2 weeks of that and then you go, right, I'm done now. Let's get the football back. But yeah, we'll talk about the running a little bit more next week. And the games that we've got left, the games that Wycombe have got left, maybe even throw Charlton in there. I'm not sure at the moment. We'll wait and see.
I know, yeah.
On this week's show, anyway, we're going to talk about the away ticket fiasco. Should we call it fiasco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's, the right word to use.
Okay, we're going to talk about the club's obvious annual financial report that came out last week. We've got a game against Exeter. We're going to look ahead to Cambridge and Burton Albion coming up this week. We've got the quiz. Action-packed this week, I would say.
You said we've got a game coming up with Exeter. We haven't.
We're going to talk about the game that we had with Exeter. Sorry.
On Saturday, yes.
God, games are just coming thick and fast, though, aren't they? So, 7 to go.
I know.
7 to go every week. I can't believe.
By this time next week.
Be 5. I know. That's the thing I can't believe, that we're going to be sitting here in a week's time going, we have a handful of games left. Literally 5. We can count it on one hand how many games we've got left. That's when the nerves kick in, I think.
It's exciting though, isn't it?
It's exciting. I think, like we were talking about having, your Saturdays back, I think my heart needs the summer just to recover.
It definitely does after the Stockport game.
Do you think?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay. Me you're talking about.
You I'm talking about.
Yeah, maybe.
It was very vocal. But we obviously talked about that last week anyway. So.
Yeah, look, if you do want to support the show, just to get this out of the way early doors, you can do. You do that by buying us a coffee, basically. Just head over to buymeacoffee.com/me the wife. Massive thank you this week to JB and Kent Gulliford, who've supported the show this week. Massive thank you to you guys. I tell you what we're a little bit behind with is...
videos.
Yeah, we basically can do we obviously, everyone who supports the show, we shout them out on here. But we can actually do a reply, like a video reply, which... We done up until a few weeks ago, and we haven't really sort of found the time to actually do that, but we will get round to that, we promise. We will definitely do that. So let's talk about tickets. I think it's been a hot topic this week, hasn't it?
Yes, very hot.
Yeah, a few people getting hot.
All right.
What?
Irate.
Irate. Irate?
Irate.
Yeah, a few people have been getting quite annoyed this week with the away ticket. So I thought we'd talk about it a little bit. It's very hard, not that you need to, but it's very hard to sort of pick a side of where I come down on this. And I think you're probably quite similar to me, because there are two sides to this argument, and I understand both sides very well.
Yep.
And when you sit and listen to one side of the argument, you sort of go, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you on that. And then you hear the other side of the argument and you go, oh, yeah, I'm with you as well. It's so difficult. I mean, for us, we have always planned to go to the last 6 games of the season. That was our plan sort of right the way back. The home games, we don't need to worry about. We've got season tickets. We're going to them games anyway. Wigan away, we got our tickets for that a couple of weeks ago, whenever they came out. I can't remember when they came out now. Blackpool tickets away, we bought them.
I think this is where
the Blackpool one is where the issue has arisen from.
Yes.
Wigan, not so much. They give us 4,600 tickets, I think, and we sold them out, and everyone seemed quite happy. You know, everyone who wanted a ticket seemed to have got a ticket, apart from maybe the people who left it too late. And but everyone seemed to have got a ticket for that. Everyone happy. Blackpool, we got our tickets last week, as I said. We only got 2,100.
Something like that. It wasn't very many.
No, so we got our Blackpool tickets last week. Very happy. Our son's never been to Blackpool before. I know a lot of international fans, will not quite understand the fuss around Blackpool.
We have discussed it before.
We live here. We're not really sure what the fuss is about Blackpool either.
It's like the Las Vegas of a very dumbed down version of Las Vegas.
It's strange. It is strange because it's like great and not so great all rolled into one.
It was very popular in the Victorian times.
No, it was big in the 80s and stuff like that, wasn't it? And I think it's more a nostalgic thing for us. And
it's kind of a rite of passage that you have to go there as a child.
Yeah.
Which is why
if you were born
here, you have to go to Blackpool and see all the...
Especially if you were born in the 80s, like me and Sharma, everyone had to go.
Yeah.
Our hotel was booked prior to the tickets coming out, so we were fingers crossed we got tickets. But yeah, so I suppose we should probably go into why has there been such outrage before we get into sort of talking about it a bit more. And the best way that I could think about sort of explaining it is, so let's go with example 1. Yeah, there's a season ticket holder. Let's call him Steve.
I was going to say these aren't real people.
They're not real people. I've just making up names.
I'm sure there are people that are season ticket holders called Steve, but
This isn't a real person. Call him Steve.
Yeah.
Right. He has been to every away game this season. Okay. He's been to every home game, every away game. He's always got tickets. He goes to get Blackpool tickets because there's such a mad rush. I think they sold out in 2 minutes. He misses out on Blackpool tickets.
Yep.
He is furious, not happy, been to every away game this season, really wants to go to Blackpool, bank holiday weekend, all that sort of stuff. He misses out.
Yep.
Okay. Example 2, let's call them Nigel and Karen. Okay. Also season ticket holders. They go to pretty much all of the home games, maybe miss one here and there when it's Karen's sister Sheila's birthday or something. I don't know, whatever. But they have never been to an away game. Never been to an away game before. Nigel goes, hey, Karen, Blackpool, bank holiday weekend, we could go to the caravan. Shall we get tickets? Yeah, all right then. They go on, they manage to get tickets. They're very happy. Okay, that's example 2. Example 3 is probably people like us, really. We've been, I think by the end of this season, so there's 23 away games during the season.
Yeah.
By the end of this season, we will have been to 8. pretty decent return, you know, for...
And every single home game.
Yeah, every single home game. You know, we've been to 8 away.
Well, you haven't been to every single home game because you've been poorly.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
I have.
Yeah. So eight away games. You know, we managed to get tickets.
Yep.
Okay. So in that whole scenario, the one person who has missed out is Steve. Okay.
Yeah.
The season ticket holder's been to every game.
Yep.
Now, this is where the anger comes in from people like Steve.
Yeah.
Who's sort of gone, why am I the one who should miss out? I've supported the club up and down the country.
Yep.
I've been all the way down to Exeter. I've been to places on cold Tuesday nights in November and December. I've made sure I've got there. You know, even when the tickets weren't selling out, I've been one that has been buying tickets. So why am I missing out versus someone like Nigel and Karen, who never go to away games?
Yeah.
Why should they get tickets over Steve getting tickets? And from that side, so what in that scenario, what is your opinion there? Just your opinion. Forget about, you know, everything else. Who do you think someone out of them two is more worthy of getting a ticket? Because this is where the argument's boiling up a little bit amongst fans, you know. So what is your just outright opinion when you hear things like this? What do you think?
Okay, I think in regards to going to every away game and every home game, great. If you can afford to do that,
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah,
you know, good for you. Well done. You know, that's amazing. You know, but we don't know everybody's circumstances.
No.
You know, we've talked about this so many times. There may be families who can only afford to go to... they've got a season ticket, but they can't afford to... Obviously, you know, the season tickets are quite expensive anyway. So they decide, at, like, the beginning of the season, right, we'll get a season ticket, we'll go to every single home game, and we'll sacrifice going to the away games. But then... it's such a difficult thing because, like, with us, I would love to go to every single away game.
Yeah.
But obviously, you work shifts.
Money.
Sometimes that isn't possible, you know.
No.
You know, our lad's obviously he's in high school, so we couldn't take him with us, which would mean we would have to get somebody to look after him. And is that fair? There's so many different arguments. So
It's difficult, though,
I don't think there is a right or wrong answer to this, but
yeah,
I get the a lot of people have been saying on social media about the loyalty points system that a lot of Premier League clubs have, and
Championship do as well.
Some, you know, and maybe a few League One teams do. I don't know. I kind of get that people want that, but then having a tiered point system, you're kind of alienating those people who can't afford to go to the home games, who can't afford to go. They can only.
But there's another layer to this argument as well. It's, you know, you bear in mind 30% of these tickets are held back for members as well. So you could end up with members, not even season ticket holders, members who are getting tickets in front of somebody like Steve, who has been to every game. You know, so you've got another layer below that where you sort of go, and you touched on the tiering system there. You know, a lot of clubs, bigger clubs, do this, you know, where you go, right, okay, you get X amount of points for going to a home game, you get X amount of points for being a season ticket holder, for being a member, for buying away tickets, going you know, to away games, and you'll get points, and the points build up. You'll end up in, like, someone like Steve, for example, I can even see Steve in my head. It's weird. Someone like Steve would be tier 1 because he's been to every game. He's buying a season ticket, all of the razzmatazz that goes with it. He would be tier 1. So let's say you've got 2,000 tickets. The first, however many you've got in tier 1, the first 300 are allocated to tier 1. season ticket holders. Then you'd have, or 500 or what, however many it is. I'm not saying I know how many. I'm just as an example. Then you'd have a tier 2, a tier 3, and so on until the tickets are gone, and that's how it would work. So you would have to do away possibly with season ticket members. You just have to be within a tier. Doesn't matter if you're a season ticket holder or a member. Your points are your points.
Yeah.
And so that
members could go to every single home game and every single away game.
They could indeed. So there's that element to it as well. And I, when I listen to people's arguments, like Steve, I get it.
Yeah.
And I completely, and the level of dedication and support that he is giving to the club, not just now, but potentially for 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
You sort of look at fans like that and you go, you sort of deserve to be at every game because you've always been at every game.
Yeah.
The slight issue with it is one, with a tiered system, do you just end up with the same people at every away game all the time?
When we've been to away games, we do see the same people quite a lot.
You do, but with a tiered system, potentially that's just what you end up with.
Yeah.
You end up with the same people at away games all the time. That's a potential. I'm not saying that's what would happen, but that is a potential. The other question to ask is, Rob and Ryan have been very heavily into this is the communities club. We are a family, we are a community, and that whole community feel is inclusive for all.
Yeah.
And does doing something like a tiered system take away that sort of community feel where everybody's got a chance?
Yeah.
Does that sort of remove that element of everybody's got a chance by just going, well, maybe everyone's got a chance, but he's got more of a chance than you've got? It's so hard to come up with an answer for this. I think at some point you're going to have a tiered system. I don't think you can carry on like this because, look, we are very lucky. We missed that in League Two. We missed out on tickets.
Yeah.
We missed out on. We wanted to go to Bradford away. We missed out on that. Because we were on at the time when they went on sale. We just couldn't get them. Tranmere away, exactly the same scenario.
Shrewsbury.
There are issues. This season we haven't missed out on any.
No, we've been
lucky. We haven't missed out on any. We were on at the time. Selected a ticket in the basket, purchased them. Everyone we wanted to go to, we've been able to.
Charlton, Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, Rotherham, loads, Bolton.
Yeah, Bolton.
We've done all of the ones we wanted to. We've done. We have missed out on some because they've ended up being on Tuesday, but that's our personal circumstances that's meant we've had to miss out on them. Like the Reading and the Huddersfield, we weren't able to go to them. I don't know. We've spewed out a lot of information here.
I think it is down to people's personal circumstances. I get Steve's argument because, I feel like I know Steve.
I know.
I get Steve's argument. Not so much it's difficult with Nigel and Karen's argument because it's so difficult.
I'm not sure.
It's so difficult not to rile people.
It is, and the whole point of bringing this up was to have a discussion about it because the intention isn't to rile anybody. I do get both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
I think Nigel and Karen are probably the type of people who are sort of like, if they were to miss out,
they wouldn't be that bothered.
A little bit gutted, but they're not that bothered. Whereas Steve is fuming that he hasn't been.
Yeah.
And I understand why Steve's fuming. I think we are going to end up in a tiered points-based system at some point. I thought that might have been this season.
I thought they would bring something in.
Maybe they have started and they're just running it in the background and then they'll roll it out
maybe
next season rather than rolling it out and it doesn't quite work the way that people expected it to.
Yeah.
But I think for everybody, I would expect it. For away games, I would expect a points-based sort of like tiered system because that's what pretty much every big club does, and we are very much veering in that direction. I think.
Are.
So look, I think for us, as example 3 in that, going to every home game, going to over a third of the away games, I think we would have built up a decent amount of points.
Yeah.
And I think we'd be in a decent high-ish tier to be going after away tickets next season. So and people might say, well, yeah, of course you're happy with a tiered system because your points are going to be really high because of how many games you've been to. That isn't really the reason that I'm saying I would be happy with it. I just think it's possibly the fairest way to go. But having said that, I would be gutted for the people who never get the chance to go to away games.
This is the thing, isn't it?
Because an away day experience is so different to the home ones, and they're so good.
I love going away.
And I would love, and this is where I start veering back the other way, because I'd love everyone to be able to experience them away days.
Yeah.
And then you start leaning towards the Nigel and Karens then, going, well, if we did go points-based and tiered, you would miss out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my head hurts.
You could go through so much.
My head hurts. It's what I don't know. Look, I think
there is no right or wrong answer.
There is. If you ask Steve, there is.
There is a tiered system,
and I'm maybe sort of with him a little bit, but then I don't the other way. Look, we would love to hear your thoughts on this, and we are more than aware that a lot of listeners to this show are overseas. Now, we do know people who come to the UK and do go when they are over here to away games. But would that end up going in the bin because you're not able to, because your tier's too low, because you don't go to enough games? Look, we'd love...
whether they'd have an international tier system.
I don't know. Look, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So please get in touch. And I think we're probably going to have to touch on this again in the future.
There'll be more fiascos with away tickets.
Yes. So, let us know what you think in the comments. Send us an email, whatever it might be. Just let us know. We might touch on this again. We've solved nothing. It's very lucky that we don't work for the club and have not been tasked with sorting this out, because we've talked for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We've sorted nothing here.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but I think if we were getting paid, we would sort it out.
I'm not sure which way I'd go, though. Even with money in my pocket, I'm not sure which way I'd go.
No, I know. We're talking of money.
Let's talk about the finances.
Yes.
Yeah, look, annual figures for the club were released last week. They were released for year ending the 30th of June 2024.
Okay.
So we'll breeze through these a little bit. Turnover, 26.7 million. Mind blown. That's 155% increase.
So that's including ticket price,
That's complete
tickets,
turnover,
merchandise,
sponsorships, everything.
Yeah.
That blows your mind a little bit, doesn't it?
26 million, yeah.
26 mil, just the 26 mil.
Not even 26 mil. It's 26.7
mil. I would love to know what it is this year so far, because I reckon it's more than that already.
Yeah.
By now. Huge. 52.1% of the revenue has come from North America. More than half of
I'm not very good with
revenue.
geography. What's in North America?
America, Canada, Mexico.
Okay.
That's North America. Okay.
Yeah, I'm rubbish at geography.
Yeah, I know. The £15 million loan that we got from R.R. McReynolds, which is Rob and Ryan's company, has now been repaid. We are now debt-free.
Cha-ching for Rob and Ryan.
Yeah, so, well, not really. They're just getting the money back that they borrowed us in the first place.
Yeah, okay.
So we are now, as a club, debt-free.
And I bet there's not many clubs that can say that.
There certainly isn't, I don't think. No, there are clubs out there where owners have pumped money in and not had it back, but have also not expected it back either. They've just put the money in. Rob and Ryan are very business-minded. This was always a loan, and we knew it was a loan, and it was always going to have to be repaid at some point. But that's done, and I don't know how other people feel, but... it's always nice to pay something off.
Yeah.
When you, regardless of what it is, you go, right, that's done.
Yeah.
That's out the way, and it's nice that is done. There's nothing to say that they won't pump another loan into the club at some point if it's needed, but at this moment in time, we are debt-free.
They've had what they paid him.
Yes. Sponsorship revenue, 13.181 million pounds.
So that's your likes of United Airlines, Meta.
Four Walls. All of that.
Stoke Brew Coffee.
Yes, all of that.
Yeah.
That. A lot of money. That is up from 1.8 million the year before.
It's mad.
That's a 12 million, almost a 12 million pound increase on sponsorship. Retail revenue is up to 4.4 million. Match day revenue is 5 million. Our losses are basically £2.729 million. A lot of people panic when they see losses. So we've lost nearly £3 million in that year. I think one thing, but that is down. That's an improvement. So the year before, our losses were 5 million. Mm-hmm. Our losses are now down to 2.7. Sorry, hiccups. We had a Subway before we did this. Other sandwich shops are available, but
not Subway's best.
It is the best. So our losses are down. It is very normal for football clubs to make losses.
2 million's quite low for a football
club. It is.
Club.
I think, and I might be wrong in saying this because this is coming from somewhere in my mind, but the Championship recently increased the amount that clubs could lose over a 3-year period.
Okay.
And it was somewhere in the region of 40 odd million. So, we're in a position where, we've lost very small amounts. Yeah. As part of that losses, you have to bear in mind we paid back a £15 million loan as well.
Which is good.
Yeah, so to have only lost that amount, having had to shell out 15 million quid back to our owners, I think we've done all right. I did notice one thing. I don't know if you've seen this, so I'll ask you. If you had to guess what our wage bill was in this period, what if you had to put a figure on what our wage bill was? Have you seen this?
I don't think so.
We had the biggest. So this is obviously for the period in League Two.
Okay.
Yeah, while we were in League Two, this is because it up until the 30th of June 2024. So that's the sort of end of the League Two campaign. Yeah. So do you think we had the highest wage bill in League Two? What do you think our wage bill was for that year?
750,000.
750. You think that our wage bill?
15 million.
Okay, you've so okay.
2 million.
Oh my God!
It's my final offer. 2 million.
You were closer with the wild second guess of 15 million, if I'm honest.
8 million. 10 million. 9 million. Just tell me.
11 million.
Wow.
Yes. So
and that's in just a season.
Correct. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a big old wage bill.
Who's the one that's getting? Oh, mind you, that's not just the players, is it? That's
everyone.
Everything.
Let's be completely honest here. 90% of that is the players.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Deborah, the tea lady, is making a massive impact on that 11 million.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's huge. I think the team in second place in that season was Bradford. And I think they had just a touch over half what we were. I think there was something like 5.7 or 5.8 million. So we very much put all of our eggs in one basket to get promoted.
Luckily it worked out then.
Very luckily it worked out.
Do we get paid for getting promoted?
Yes, so there is prize money within. So there's prize money for winning the league. There's prize money for winning the playoffs. There's prize money for the other automatic promotion places.
Right,
There is. I'm not sure what that is. I'd have to look that up if I'm honest. But
Probably in the millions, isn't it?
you've got to bear in mind there is prize money as well for progressing in the FA Cup. There's prize money for progressing through the Virtue Trophy, through the League Cup.
Yeah.
Every round you get to, there's prize money. You know, for obviously goes up each round, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Things like the Virtue Trophy, they're not going to be huge. Pittance. But yeah, every competition you're in does have prize money, obviously. So
Where does that saying come from, pittance? Did we used to pay in pittance?
I don't know. It's just a meaning of very small amount of money, I think.
I like it. Anyway.
Yeah. So I think, all in all, finances,
We're doing all right.
I think so.
I think we're all right.
And I think it's only going to get better.
Have you been giving your spreadsheets to them?
No, I haven't. But talking of spreadsheets, I do have to. We talked about Tam last week.
We did.
Who sent a spreadsheet in, and
She's very clever.
fair play, right? We got another email.
She doesn't even work with spreadsheets on a daily basis.
She does.
Yeah, but not like to the extent of this.
No, certainly not. No. And she sent me, because I mentioned on last week's, it was the best spreadsheet I'd ever seen. And I mentioned I might, I maybe would chuck in this and that and a few other extra bits. And she sent it again. So going, yeah, all the bits you wanted, I've added it in, which is amazing. Thank you for that. It blew my mind a little bit. And but it was lucky she did, because I didn't even notice when I was talking about how great the spreadsheet was. I didn't even notice there was more than one tab. So there was extra tabs on it. I didn't even notice that. So it was like, yeah, wow, it was absolutely amazing. But yeah, I think we are in a good place as a club. We are spending, I think what I've learned in the last week is our turnover's great. The revenue from sort of like the club shop stuff and all the merchandise and, the match day, that's all fantastic. We're paying a lot more in wages than I thought we were, if I'm completely honest.
I'm not shocked, though.
No, I'm not. It's going to go up again. Yeah. That's the thing,
This time next year, we'll be hearing about this season's pay, wages and stuff like that.
And we'll be sitting here talking about it being 18, 19, 20, 25 million, whatever it is. We've got players like Jay Rodriguez, Sam Smith, Jay Rodriguez has dropped down from a championship wage. I don't know what he was on, but he would have been on good money. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see it next year. Hopefully it's in the Championship. That will be by then. Quick Fantasy EFL update. So first, it's the same. Just the same. I just need a graphic, really, to put on the screen for everyone watching on YouTube that just says Ben Parker first, Ian Dougal second and C. Williams third.
We'll do that then.
No, because that alienates the people listening on the podcast, because they can't see us. So there we go. Anyway.
So let's talk about Exeter. I was very nervous and excited about this game. Obviously, we weren't there because we couldn't get tickets, and
we could have got tickets. it wasn't a sellout. The thing that put us off about this game was, one, it's the furthest we have to travel in a season. It's like a 5-6 hour drive, which I'm sure for a lot of Americans listening is just down the road. But for us in the UK, absolutely not.
Especially with British roads.
So
they're probably not great.
No, for a 10/12 hour round trip. It's a bit much when, as we've already said, we're planning to go to the last 6 games of the season,
including Lincoln, which is obviously a good few hours.
Which we're obviously fingers crossed hoping for tickets for that one. But you have to sort of budget for these things and travel and all that sort of stuff. So Exeter was a bridge too far for us. So we didn't go. No.
So there was an unchanged lineup for the 3rd game in a row.
Yeah.
So, but we're like, but we all know that Parker, if something's working, although sometimes, because wasn't it Exeter where he did that formation, and then he didn't change it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Right.
That's why I was a bit nervous, because I thought this game could go either way, which obviously every game can.
Yeah.
But this one, it's like, this one, because of our win last week against Stockport.
Yeah.
Not last week, the week before. Sorry. This one seemed more important because obviously Wickham didn't play on Saturday, whereas we did the Saturday we played Stockport.
Yeah.
Did they play? They played Tuesday, didn't they, or did they not?
Yes.
So they played Tuesday, Saturday. The game against Exeter was quite thingy. So I kind of thought.
Did they play Tuesday?
I can't remember. I don't think
they
did.
didn't.
Actually.
They didn't.
So they had Saturday, Tuesday. Yeah. So they played obviously Saturday like we did. So there is a thingy to this madness of talking. Just don't interrupt me a second because I will lose my flow. Although I think I already have. I think because we beat Stockport and because we beat Wickham, I think Parky was like, why change it? Why fix something that isn't broken?
Yes.
Is my thingy. So I wasn't surprised that hasn't been a change for a few games because it seems to be working.
Yeah, it does. 100%. I'm with you. It was Saturday felt the best I've seen them in a while as well. Bearing in mind, I know it might be a bit strange. We've beat Wickham, we've beat Stockport. And and it was Exeter who are lower down in the league. Haven't won or picked up as many points as the other two. Like your
dad said earlier on to us, he said that we seem to struggle with the lower tiered teams.
Yeah.
Not lower tiered, lower in the table. I mean,
yeah,
not lower tiered. So it's like, I think it was, and that was another reason why I was nervous because like we have played. Teams that are lower in the league and possibly near relegation, and
Cambridge, Shrewsbury.
Well, we've got
as an example,
and we've really struggled against them at home as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we were away as well to a team that was 16th.
Around there, yeah.
I think it was 16th.
Certainly in the bottom half.
So it was like, it could go. But yeah, I was kind of glad that he kept the team as he did because I think they are starting to. It's great having depth and all that kind of stuff in your teams, in your squad. And yes, it's good to kind of rotate them now and again to give them a rest and all that kind of stuff. But I think the team that we've got that played on Saturday and that played against Stockport and Wickham, I kind of think they're kind of progressively getting even like more solid.
Yeah.
And I think on Saturday that they shown how solidified they actually are as a squad.
There's a lot to be said for a settled team.
Yeah.
I think I if you go back 20 years, 25,
not sure I can think that far back.
25, 30 years, you would have.
What was 13, 20 years? No, it wasn't.
You would have teams that played the same 11
every
single game.
Yeah.
The only time that somebody else would come in
was injury.
Yeah. So if you go back to
there's probably some teams now that do that.
But yeah, if you go back to mid 90s, there was no rotation. It was, if you were watching Arsenal play Man United, FANUB would be useless because you'd get your team prediction right every single week because the teams just didn't chop and change. And there is a lot to be said for a settled team that are playing week in, week out. That being said, you watch Tuesday, Parky changes it.
No, I don't think he will.
No, I don't think he will either. I'm sort of with you because they're, like I say, it's a settled team. They're starting to gel a bit more, and they're starting to look like they know what each other are doing, and it seems a definite plan. And even though all of the players are in the same squad, it's very different training as a unit. And playing as that smaller unit of 11, it's different. And, you do things in a game that you wouldn't necessarily do in training. And then you learn from the guy that's standing next to you. You learn what he's going to do. oh, you know, in this scenario what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you can look back at training and you know what's happened and what you've been drilled to do. So you're right. There is a lot to be said for it, a settled team, and long may it continue. I do feel sorry for certain players, Barney being one of them. I do feel sorry for him because he had a great start to the season, but
the best assist in the league, wasn't he?
Yeah, top assister in the league. So it's if you were looking around the team and you were sort of going, if you'd have said to me one person's going to lose their place,
you didn't think it'd be Barney.
Certainly wouldn't have been him I'd have picked out. But it like you say, it's working. Look, it was windy.
It was windy. They've got that big gap as well, haven't they? So
it was weird.
So they've got like 4 stands.
Yeah.
But one of the stands is like half, and then you've got. I suppose that's because of the houses that are there, is it?
I don't know. It was weird though. It didn't look windy until the ball went up in the air. So in the first half, the ball was sort of holding up in the wind, so it's quite hard to defend against because it wasn't quite going where you thought.
It to go.
Second half, they had to, the lads had to drop off quite a bit deeper, just because the wind was going the other way. But it was sort of a really good, progressive and positive start to the game. And, we were really pushing. It just looked like it was starting to settle down into a little bit of a rhythm. And then that's when Lolly popped up, hit one from about 25 yards, big deflection, took it in. I thought it was... The way Jay Rodriguez ran and celebrated, we thought he'd scored, didn't we?
I think he was just really happy for Ollie.
Yeah, he was. And I always wondered, because seeing Jay celebrate, because we saw him, seen him celebrate a couple of times now, which is quite good. And there's some real aggression and passion in, when he's celebrating. I often wonder where that comes from. I wonder if it's like the winning mentality of an athlete, or I wonder if it's got like a little bit of an extra kick because it's a player that's dropped down out of the championship who really wants to get back to the championship because that's where he's come from. So I doubt a player would ever admit to whether that's what it is.
No,
but,
we were listening to the commentary, weren't we, with Mia, Andy Morell and and Mark Griffiths, and Andy said that he doesn't care what anybody says. If a striker, if his job is as a striker and he is not scoring goals, it is going to affect them.
Yeah.
So
regardless of the good work that they're putting in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think now, and I'm sure I read somewhere that now that when we played Stockport, Jay, yes, he admits himself that the penalty that he took at against Stockport was terrible, but the fact that the ball kind of reflected back to him, deflected, whatever you want to call it, went back to him. I don't know. Went back to him, and he scored, and then he scored against Exeter.
Yeah.
I saw, and I said this myself. I was like, I think now, all right, it's only 2 goals in 2 games, but I feel like
decent record that.
Make
it 3-3 and 4-4.
Exactly. He keeps going the way he is, and I just think him and Sam together are brilliant.
Well, I was going to ask that because I think for me, I'm starting to see it. Phil has definitely gone, right, you're the two that I'm playing there. And we were very unsure about, not so much Sam, but
Jay,
we were unsure about that Jay. We're not going to shy away from saying, I wasn't sure.
But then I backtracked and I really wanted him to get a goal. And I
think everyone really wanted him to get a goal.
I was behind him and I didn't, But
they're starting to look, they're starting to look like a proper, duo.
Unit.
Yeah, a proper unit. Yeah, 100%. I think I can really see that. Look, the thing I loved about Saturday was the high press. Were great. It wasn't just one go in, which we do get sometimes, and the one's looking around going, well, no one's coming with me. We were going as, we were sort of hunting in packs. One was going, the other was going, another was going. We were pressing high. And for me, in my opinion, we always look better when we've got high press. We don't do it all the time for whatever reason. I think we've got the engine in the team to do it. we just don't seem to.
I said to you, didn't I, that what we seem to do is when we're at not our goal end.
When we've got a corner.
When we've got a corner, you know, we take the corner. The ball doesn't go in for whatever reason. The goalkeeper gets it. Sometimes we're a bit slow about. You know, right, the goalkeeper's got the ball. He is going to kick it any second now. So what we need to do is we need to get away from that goal mouth and we need to get back up the other end of the pitch.
Into our positions.
Get back, recycle. Is that what it is?
No.
Get back in your position.
Reset.
So yeah, you reset.
It was a but just not the that you said.
So they, you know, and I found the game on Saturday, that's exactly what they did. Didn't go in, the ball didn't go in, and they were straight out there, running back up the end of the pitch, getting it back into their formation.
It was something you did. I remember you saying to me, you go in there, they're like resetting really quick. They're like, right, ball breaks down, and they went back, and they were, you know, they were sort of sprinting back, and they're back in position. But it just felt like we played the game on our toes a bit more, as opposed to being
from the start, and not like having to.
Yeah.
We were proactive rather than reactive. Is that the right saying?
I would say so.
Instead of reacting to Exeter scoring or, you know, nearly scoring or whatever, we were literally, from the moment the whistle went, we knew what we wanted.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we got what we wanted. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was 1-0 at half time.
Achieve and receive.
Achieve and receive.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure. What?
No, I don't think it works. Achieve.
No. Receive.
Believe and achieve.
And receive.
Yeah.
Anyway. Second half is a bit more chaotic. A bit more of a chaotic start to the second half.
Was that because of the wind? Because obviously Exeter were affected by the wind in the first half, and I think it was affecting us in the second.
Maybe the ball's just coming at you a bit quicker. I'm not sure, but we felt like we sort of lost our composure a little bit. Start of the second half. Arthur, just talking about the wind, you know, Arthur misjudged the flight of the ball at one point. It sort of sailed over his head, and he sort of flapped at it a bit and gave a corner away. I remember Cleworth lashing at a clearance at one point. There was a bit of a scramble in our box, I remember, as well. So it was just sort of like a little bit frantic, that second half. And another thing I noticed on Saturday, that we were putting in loads of crosses. Mainly, I think McLean was the one that was the most guilty of this. The crossing was poor on Saturday. It was either scuffing them across the floor, or going to the near post, or going too long.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just felt like a little bit more composure in some of them scenarios might have yielded a few more chances for us.
Maybe he just wanted to get away from the home fans booing him constantly.
I know. I think the last... it was just before the hour mark. We got a penalty, didn't we?
We did.
Jay went down. Soft at best, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe a yellow card for the player. I don't know.
Really? I wasn't even sure it was a foul, if I'm completely honest.
He did put his leg out to trip him up. He did purposely try to trip him up. You can see that on the highlights.
Yeah, he sticks his leg out.
But it looked like a comedy fall, didn't it? I said
a little bit.
I said it looked.
Yeah.
You know, you said, "Oh, it looks really slow the way he's going down." But when you look at it from a different angle, you could. Yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining. He got a penalty, to be honest.
Probably a penalty, but another one that you could probably put in the soft drawer.
Soft play area.
That one can go in the soft drawer, I would say, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
Jay picked the ball up. He's obviously, and I was like, "Come on, mate."
Oh, I really wanted him to have, and I think that's why he took it. I think he thought, you know what, I've got to prove to myself that I can get this. And he did. He smashed it.
He did. He went straight down the middle, which I was. See, if it was me in goal, right, because I was sitting there going, I think he'll go straight down the middle.
Yeah.
Because I sort of felt like after what happened last week, I just felt like to build a bit of confidence, don't worry about how far right you're putting it, how far left, low, high. For me, just to calm everything down, go down the middle because the keeper's likely to go. So if it was me in goal, I probably would have saved it. Just saying, because that's where I felt he was going to go.
Massive eye roll.
But yeah, that was what I would, if I was him, that's exactly what I'd have done. I'd put it down the middle, I think. But look, good penalty. Really happy for him to score again. I think for the last half an hour of that game after that, we looked in complete control, I think. We bossed that game. We limited them to very little because they looked an okay team, if I'm honest, Exeter. Not the best we've played, but they look okay. Do you know what I mean? They weren't like, oh, these are awful. They're decent. And I just think maybe they're lacking something in the final third. I did mention they sold their striker in January. I just don't think, I think they're missing something. They're definitely missing something. And, one of the wingers I quite liked, the one that was sort of, I can't remember his name. He was the one that was on Longman's side, and him and Max had a little bit of a tussle throughout the match. And I liked him. I thought he was decent. But yeah, like I say, it just felt comfortable for the last half an hour.
It wasn't a. Although you said that it was a bit chaotic in the second half at the beginning, I think it wasn't as chaotic as it has been recently. It was a very comfortable win, I feel.
Yeah.
We stay in second.
Yeah, it was
obviously Wycombe won. So that they're third. So we thought, do you know, if Wycombe don't win, we're like 5 points ahead of them, and that'll be lovely. But then they scored against Lincoln.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh. God's sake.
Look, before you're skipping ahead to other results here, but I think you're trying to gloss over something very important from the Exeter game. And I think the most important thing from the day is that I got my prediction right.
Again.
I went for 2-0. It was 2-0. I moved to 8-4. 8-4 in the lead. Now, this season...
So I basically got to get the next 7 right.
You've got to get 5 out of 7.
No, I've got to get every single one right. Want to get every single one right.
Okay, that's fine. Just bearing in mind, in a touch of... Because we've done this for cup games as well. So in just over 40 games, you've got 4 right. In the next 7, you've got to get 5. I don't fancy your chances, but... stranger things have happened. So I am not resting easy just yet.
You can get points taken off you, as well.
No, that can't happen. That can't happen. Did you have a man of the match on Saturday before we move on?
Owen O'Connell.
Yeah.
I just think I heard somebody saying this, and I totally agree. He is 100% underrated. I thought he has been in a few other games, but Saturday, sorry, he worked tirelessly, and there has been moments in previous games where he's made really silly, detrimental mistakes. Mm-hmm. But I feel he has learnt from them, and I feel like he's come back, and he's come back stronger. And I think the game on Saturday, he was just, there are a few others that I could probably name man of the match, but I think Owen O'Connell he goes underrated. So I'd like to give it to him, please.
Look at you coming round to the old defenders, eh? Hey, see? See, it's me bleeding into you. That sounds weird. But yeah, it's, I have to agree. I think he's massively underrated, and I think he's superb. The amount of aerial duels that he wins. Yes, he's got a mistake in him. We know that. He has made mistakes.
He has.
But, and, they have been quite costly mistakes at times. But consistently one of our highest scorers. Yeah. If you're into the whole stats and all that sort of stuff, consistently one of, if not the top scorers in our squad. It's very hard to overlook Ollie. I think a lot of the time it's so hard to look. But I
said to you at the beginning, didn't I? I was like, do you reckon that Ollie Rathbone is just happy all of the time? Every time you see him, he's just got this massive grin on his face. Even when he was like at half time running in to go into the tunnel, he's just smiling. He's just such a happy little...
He had scored though.
No, I know, but it's not just yesterday. It's not
Yeah,
just
I
Saturday.
know.
He's like, he just always looks happy.
Talking about Ollie, Roy sent a message saying another one in the bank for Ryan.
I wonder why you chose that comment.
Yes, Roy. No, I didn't choose it for that, to be honest. He said, might want to tell Ollie Rathbone that the match is over now. Otherwise, he still might be chasing down the ball like he was in the 89th minute. That man is a machine.
He's just constant, absolutely constant.
Yeah, I think, when you're sitting there talking about man of the not man of the match, player of the season, right?
I mean, you'd be hard pushed to get anybody else but Ollie Rathbone.
I think I'm with you.
I can't.
I can't imagine. But having said that, we were all in for Andy Cannon last season, and he didn't get it.
Who got it? I can't remember now.
Mullin, didn't he? So
I don't think Mullin's going to get it this season.
I don't think he is. So I think no. But I think it's very difficult to see anyone but Ollie winning that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we will talk.
Do we vote for that, or do the?
I think we did last season. I'm pretty sure we did. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. No. Yeah, we did.
We'll obviously have our awards as well, our end of season awards.
We will do.
Another comment from JB. Strong play, more skilled passing than just kicking it long. Rathbone and Longman had a great match. Brendan Dillon, great match with a huge delivery by the Rodfather. I love that.
I like the Rodfather.
We're using that.
The Rodfather. Jay Rodriguez, a.k.a. the Rodfather.
Yeah.
Another 3 big points. Oh, sorry, this is Rick. Another 3 big points to stay on pace with Wickham. Well-executed gameplay and great ball movement. The defensive play of all players at each position has been impressive. With 7 remaining games, it's coming down to which team flinches first and hits a bump in the road. Yeah, I know.
It's not going to be us.
Fingers crossed it's not us.
Ben Parker was a really impressive game. They came out with right mindset and didn't let up even with a 2-goal lead. Parky did his homework and every single player smashed it. Gives me a lot of hope that we've got this for the rest of the season.
Fingers crossed. Eric, that looked like a team who could go up. Much more control and decisive passing. Extra bonus, no moans for Mullin or Palmer. All of a sudden, everyone is a J-Rod fan. The Rodfather.
Yeah. Thank you for all your comments. If you would like to get in touch, you can do so. You can comment on this YouTube video, or you can contact us on Blue Sky X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, or you can click, if you're listening to us, you can click contact the show on, it's just underneath the description on the podcast.
It is, yeah.
Or you can email us at methewifeandwrexhamafc@gmail.com.
Quick Saturday roundup. So, as Sian said, Wickham won 1-0 against Lincoln. Charlton beat Huddersfield 4-0 in the early kickoff.
They scored. Charlton scored in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, they did really early on.
They did it really early.
Stockport beat next weekend's opponents, Burton, 2-1. Reading moved into 6th with a 3-1 win over Peterborough. Crazy, because we were all raving about Bolton and how they were doing really well. They've lost 3 in a row now, Bolton. And Reading have overtaken them. Shrewsbury are bottom. Just for anyone, just thought I'd throw that in just to let you know. But yeah, it's looking good at the moment. I'm
77
happy.
points.
Yeah, I mean,
still miles away from Birmingham. But
yeah, to give you an idea, I think we are. You're looking for in the 90s. For automatic promotion, you've pretty much got to be in the 90s. So there is, being at 77...
There's a way to go.
There's still a way to go.
But we've got 7 games to get there.
Yeah, we do.
So, Tuesday, the 1st of April, my God, we are away playing Cambridge United. It'll be our 40th league game of the season. Kick-off is at 7:45. It's the last Tuesday game of the season.
Yes.
Can you believe that? We've only got 3 home games left.
I know, it is crazy.
So we're away at Abbey Stadium. The capacity there is 7,937. We were allocated 1,036, and they haven't sold out yet.
They might have by now, but when I wrote this the other day, they hadn't. So, yeah.
They're 170 miles away, which is about 3.25 hours. Our sister-in-law's from Cambridge. Play in amber. C. Williams, yeah. Play in amber. Their away shirt is blue, and their third shirt is green. How close is amber to red? Do you think we couldn't wear our gold shirt?
How close is amber to red? Well, It's
orange and red.
It's like gold and red.
We won't wear our gold. I think we'll wear our black on Tuesday.
Or red.
Or red. Last game we played with them was a 2-2 draw at Stoke High Ras on the 14th of December.
Shocking.
And it's the last time that James McLean scored. Their top scorer is Elias Kachunga.
Yeah.
He's on 6 goals so far this season. They drew 1-1 with Northampton on Saturday. They are 23rd in League One on 31 points. So they are quite away from us. But you know what? Teams who are...
They were last time we played them and we couldn't beat them then.
So they have won 7, 10 drawn, and one of those 7 games was against us.
No, one of them draws was against us.
Sorry, drawn 10, lost 22. They've not won in their last 7 games. They've drawn 2 and they've lost 4.
5, I think. Actually, because 2 and 4 doesn't add up to 7, so I think it's 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, they're 11 points from safety.
Yeah.
But it's not looking good.
No, it's not looking good for them. But this is the time of the season where the teams who are fighting for their lives to stay in a league become...
They put everything in.
Super dangerous. Yeah. And they are so hard to play against at times. They were hard to play against for us when they came to the racecourse. Their game plan was perfect.
Yeah.
So, when a team are fighting to survive in a league, they become an extremely dangerous team to play.
2-0. Getting in there first.
I am going to go for 3-1.
Yeah?
Yes, please.
Okie dokie. Picking a pokey. 3-1.
So I want to do 3-0, but I'm going to go 3-1. Let's move on to Saturday. This is our 41st game of the season. That is mental. It's against Burton Albion at the racecourse. It's an early kickoff on Saturday, the 5th of April. It's a 12:30 GMT.
I love an early kickoff.
How does the fact...
it's not GMT anymore, it's BST.
Oh, it's BST, sorry. So how does it work? Does it affect the American market? The fact that, because on Sunday, just gone, our clocks changed. Do they change for everyone around the world, or is it just in the UK?
Well, no, isn't it like British Saver Time or...
British Summertime?
No, but it's
Daylight Saving.
Daylight Saving, so I don't know whether I don't even know what it's for, to be honest.
Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, we're in BST now, not GMT.
So it's 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon.
In the UK. So, yeah.
So, whatever time that is in your area.
Look, they play in yellow. Away shirt is white, third shirt is blue, and at the top, and sort of blends into it like a green. Last league game with them was a 1-0 win on the 7th of December. It's when Elliot Lee scored from the corner, direct from the corner.
Did he come on Saturday? I don't think he did he?
I think he did.
Yes, he did.
Yes,
he did.
We actually had more than half of the possession that day as well. It was 55%, which is amazing. They've obviously got 3 ex-Wrexham players. They've got John Daddy Bodvarsson, they've got Anthony Ford, and they've got James Jones that all play for them. Top scorers Ryman Burrell with 7. They lost 2-1 away at Stockport on Saturday. They're 21st in League One on 36 points. They've won 8, drawn 12 and lost 18. They are 6 points from safety. They've only won 1 in the last 5, and that was against the team who are bottom, which is Shrewsbury. By the way, I don't know if I'd mentioned Shrewsbury are bottom in League One.
Who are bottom again?
Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury, yeah. So, predictions for Saturday.
3-0. Ooh, exciting.
4-0. I will.
Do you know what?
I will take your 3-0
and
I will raise it to 4-0.
First I put 4-0, but then I thought, we've got a lot of 1-0, so them getting 4 is a bit of a push. So I've gone 3.
I'm going for it.
Yeah.
I'm that close to going 5.
Do you think?
That's the confidence levels in me at the moment.
Do you think if, for any reason, hopefully they don't, because obviously we want a clean sheet again, James Jones, Daddy Bodvarsson, or Bodvarsson Daddy, or whatever his name is, didn't really get to know him very well, really,
no.
And Anthony Ford, do you think if they scored...
They wouldn't celebrate.
They wouldn't celebrate, would they?
Bodvarsson would.
because he's not really.
He's that.
Yeah.
But I don't think the other two would celebrate.
I really hope if they are in the starting 11, not so much Daddy, but James Jones and Anthony Ford, I hope that the Wrexham fans will get behind and clap them on.
They will.
Just like the Wigan fans clap for James McLean.
They will, 100%. They are two players who didn't leave under a cloud.
No.
They left because they wanted more game time that they weren't getting or they weren't likely to get while they were with us. Mm-hmm. That's why they went. They would 100% get a good reception.
Well, I'll be standing up cheering for them anyway.
Yeah.
Not
cheering for them.
Cheering
but
through the whole game, but when they come out, we will obviously, when they announce their names.
Yes.
Yes.
Look, a quick shout out for Dragon Chats, a mental health peer support group. They run 2 weekly Zoom calls. One is on Monday at 8 p.m. and that is for women. The other one is on Thursday at 7 p.m. and that is for men. If you want to find out how to get on them calls, if you're watching us on YouTube, all the details are down in the description. Failing that, you can go to the Wrexham AFC website, go to the Communities tab, scroll down to Health, and in there you'll find Dragon Chat.
Anthony Ford was in the starting 11 on Saturday.
Was he?
Yeah, James Jones wasn't.
No, I don't think. I wasn't sure if he was injured because he came off in one game and he hasn't played since. So I'm not sure.
Tin.
Yes. Right, quiz time.
Quiz time.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in a good mood today because it's Mother's Day.
Yeah. So happy Mother's Day, Sian.
You were going to forget, so I thought...
No, I wasn't going to forget. I was going to say it right at the start, and then when I didn't, I thought I'll leave it till the end. Happy Mother's Day to any mothers
in the UK.
I
think our international fans...
They're in May.
May the 8th, I think it is.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, do you know what I had for Mother's Day? I'm so excited about this. People think this is really lame, but I'm just so excited. Well, I had a lovely video made by Alfie, which was like lots of different memories of, photographs of us. And there's a lot of photographs of me and Alfie, possibly because I forced him to have photographs taken with me. But yeah, he made me this lovely video, which I'll obviously cherish forever. And no material things can ever match anything like that.
No.
But... I was very excited. I got a window vac, which I'm so excited about using. And I know that's really sad, but I'm 43 nearly, and stuff like that excites me. So I was really happy with that. So happy Mother's Day to me.
How boring. I don't think there's any... I don't think there is any other country. Oh, there is. There's one other country, I think. Ireland, obviously, had Mother's Day the same day as us as well. And I think the only other country has Mother's Day the same day as us is Nigeria.
Oh.
I think, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have it on this day because it's the 4th Sunday of Lent. I think that
is Nigeria a Christian country?
Yes, I would say so. So possibly, anyway, yeah. I think it's
whoever's celebrating today. Happy Mother's Day. Every single one of you are smashing it, basically.
Yeah, yes.
You're all fantastic.
And well done to you for being such a lovely, amazing mother.
Managed to keep our child alive for 13 years.
Yes.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Look, little quiz. Look, I saw a little picture of the Exeter programme on Saturday. So the Exeter did a little quiz, a little halftime quiz for anybody who bought the programme, which was basically, because we were the only Welsh club that they were going to play all season, they put a little Welsh quiz. Obviously, I speak Welsh. So what we're going to do is, I wasn't sure whether you'd seen it on social media or not. No. So I just took the idea and created my own.
Okay.
Rather than just in case.
I haven't seen it.
No. So I am going to give you a football-related Welsh term, okay? I will then give you 3 options, and then you need to tell me what the Welsh word is. Okay. Number 1, kick wreath. Kick wreath, okay? Is that free kick, penalty, or cross?
Penalty.
It's not
free
penalty.
Kick, innit?
It's free kick, yeah. Penalty is kick or smotting. So there we go. Number 2, amddiffynwr.
Say it again.
Amddiffynwr.
Right.
Is that striker, midfielder, or defender?
Midfielder.
That's not midfielder, that's defender. And the fun.
Why did I not go for defender? Because obviously you were going to say defender because you were a defender.
I'm going to say defender because that's what the word actually means. But there. Okay, number 3.
Yeah.
Cefnogwr. Once more. Cefnogwr.
Okay.
Is that winger, referee, or supporter?
Supporter.
It is supporter. Well done.
I got one.
You got one.
Not a disaster like last week.
Number 4. Crys Peldroid. Okay? Crys Peldroid. Is that football boots, football shirt, or football socks?
Football shirt.
It is football shirt. Well done.
Because I know that T-shirt's crease T.
Yes. Well done. And number 5. This is for 3 out of 5. This is, you're entering respectable territory.
Well, it's better than last week. I mean, I've already surpassed myself from last week, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Number 5. Hanner amser. Hanner.
Half time.
Well done. Yes. 3 out of 5. Didn't even need the options.
I like that one.
The options on that one were half-time, full-time, extra time.
Oh, sorry, I meant to leave a pause, aren't I?
So people could play along a little bit, yes.
Sorry.
But
I get shouted at that for every week. The only time that I pause is when I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
So
a lot of the time then. But
but if I know the answer, I'm like, yeah, let's get in there quick.
Look, I think we did well to leave out talking about the running this week because we are well over, well, we're not well over what we normally do. We're normally about an hour and 5. We've hit about an hour and 10. So
doesn't feel like it though, does it?
It doesn't. It flies by. But I think
it flies for us. We're not sure about people listening or watching.
But I think it was the right thing to take that out, and it felt like a more. It felt better to do it when there's 5 games. To
I think it'd be too rushed if we did it all in like one. I think 5 games. I think is the right amount of games.
It is. So we will be doing that next week for you. We've hope. What was that? Yeah, should I do that again? Yeah, maybe.
Take 2.
Maybe. We hope you have enjoyed this week's episode. Please join us again next week, Monday, 6 p.m. As always, join us as well at 11:30 on Saturday, live on YouTube for our pre-game show and straight after the final whistle for our match review, live from the racecourse. Look, we appreciate you all.
We do. We love you.
And we will see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.